Okay, let's wrap up Unit 11 with 11.4 Measures of Central Tendency. Now, the phrase measures of central tendency tends to refer to basically three basic ways to summarize or um, approximate a range of numbers. So we're going to look at these three: mean, median, and mode, which you are probably familiar with. Now, the mean is the average of all the numbers, so we add them all up and divide by how many. The median is the middle of the data set, so however many numbers there are, it's the middle value. Now, if the data set has an even number of items, we'll take the average of the middle two. And the mode is the number that appears the most often. There can be a tie. There can also be no mode. So these are three different ways to approximate a data set, and they all have their pros and cons. So the average can be skewed by outliers. When you have one value way less or way more than the rest of them, it skews the average. So your average might be higher or lower than where the bulk of your numbers are. The median isn't as affected by outliers, but if most of the numbers are much lower or much higher, that can also change where your median is. And the mode ignores pretty much all the values except the one that is most popular. So they all have their different quirks and uses, but we're going to look at finding all three for a couple sets of data. So let's say we have these data sets here. They're just numbers. We don't have any meaning put to them, but that's okay. So first we'll find the mean. So we want to find the average here, which means we'll add these up and divide by how many there are. So first let's add them up. 3 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10. Gives us 59. 3, 3, 5, 7, 7, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers, so we'll divide this by 9. And our mean is 6.5 repeating, or we'll say 6.6. For our median, now you want to make sure your numbers are in order from least to greatest here, which these are. And then since we have 9 of them, the median, the middle number, is the fifth number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This 7 right here in the middle. Notice we have 4 numbers on either side of that 7, so it is the middle value. And finally, for our mode, it's the number that shows up the most often, and in this case, it is also 7. So for this data set, all three of these numbers were pretty similar. They were all a pretty decent approximation of where the kind of overall average or middle or approximation of this data set is. All right, let's look at this next one. We have 11. I'll add them as I go here. 11, 11, 12, 24, 25, 36, 46, 46, and 68. 11, 11, 12, 24, 25, 36, 46. Yep. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are again 9 numbers. We'll divide this by 9. We get 31. So our mean is 31. Let's find our median. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So again, we'll go to the fifth number, which is 25. All right, now let's find our mode. Now the one that shows up the most often here, there are actually 2 of them. We have 2 11s and 2 46s. So both 11 and 46 are going to be our modes here. So if there's a tie for most, it is all the numbers that have tied. Okay, now let's look at what's called a box and whisker plot. So for a box and whisker plot, it's a way to visually summarize how your data is organized, and it uses the median to split things up, and what are called the quartiles, the first or lower quartile and the second or upper quartile. And what that is it's the median of each half. So it essentially splits your data set up into fourths, 4 equal pieces for how many numbers there are inside. So we're using the median here, not the mean, but it does give us a good visual approximation of our data set. So first of all, because we're using the median, we want to make sure our numbers are in order from least to greatest. So we'll have to rearrange our numbers here. We've got 0. The next number is going to be a 3. We've got 1, 2 3s, then a 4, and then 1, 2 5s, 1, 2 3, 4 6s, 1 7, 2 8s, and a 9. Okay, so now they're in order from least to greatest. We can find the median. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. There's 14 numbers, so the median is right here, where there's 7 numbers on each side. And what we have to do is take the average of the 2 numbers on either side of that line. So because these are the same number, 6 plus 6 divided by 2 is going to give us 6. So we have a median here of 6. We also need to find the upper and lower quartiles, so it's the median of each half. And I have 7 numbers on each half, so my median is the 4th number of each half. Okay, so we can use our number line down here to draw our box and whisker plot now. So first of all, we're going to make lines. We want to have a line at the median and each quartile. And what we're going to do is draw a box using those 3 lines. So we have a box with a line in the middle of it, that's our median. And the edges of the box are at our quartiles. Now we draw the whiskers out to the first and last numbers of each set. And so what it does is it gives you an idea of the range and spread of our data set, because each of these sections contains the same number of data values. See, we have 3, 3, 3, and 3. And so it tells you how spread out those sections of the graph are. Okay, let's go to the next one. Another set of numbers here. Let's put these in order. I believe they start with that 13. Then we'll go 2 14s. We have 1, 2 15s, a 16, a 17, 1 18, 19, and then 3 22s. Okay, so now let's find our median and our quartiles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 12 numbers here, an even number. So the median is between the 6th and 7th number. That gives us 6 numbers on each side. So we'll find the average here of 16 and 17. We'll add them up and divide by 2. Now these are right next to each other, so the average is going to be 16.5. But we can confirm that 16 plus 17 divided by 2, 16.5. And now we find the quartiles. And again, we have an even number in each of our halves. So the medians, the quartiles will again be between some values here. So between 14 and 15 gives us 14.5. And between 19 and 22 is going to be somewhere like 21.5. Let's see, 19 plus 22 divided by 2, 20.5. That was off by 1. 20.5. Okay, so now we can draw our box. Now it's 16.5, which is right in the middle here. Same with 14.5 and 20.5. So we got our 3 lines. We're going to draw this box. If your lines aren't perfectly straight, it's okay. As long as the lines of your box are in the right spots. And then we draw the whiskers out to our outliers, or the first and last values anyway. So this box and whisker plot, the middle section was more spread out than either of the whiskers. On this first one, this first whisker was pretty spread out here, but the rest were all pretty close together, except for this section here, pretty small, because it was all these 6s that were the same number, all bunched up together. So the box and whisker plot is a great way to approximate and visually see the spread of your data. You don't know what the values are in here just by looking at them, but you can definitely see how they're spread out and their range. So it can tell you something about how bunched up your numbers are and where the most numbers ended up. So the smaller the section of the graph, the more tightly packed those numbers are. Okay, so mean, median, mode. Mean is the average, mode is the most often, median is the middle number, and we can use the medians to make a box and whisker plot to visually represent our data.